Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real, something honest, something a lot of folks don't understand. Sometimes the person who loves you the deepest, the person who feels you in their bones, will be the very same person who keeps their distance. And it's not because they don't care. It's not because they lost interest. It's because loving you scares them more than anything they've ever felt. When a person loves deeply, that love sits heavy on their heart in the most beautiful and frightening way. It's not the light kind of love that comes and goes with convenience. It's not the playful attraction that fades the moment life gets tough. Deep love makes a person feel like they're holding something rare, something valuable, something they absolutely cannot afford to lose. And because of that, many people pull back, not out of lack of interest, but out of fear of messing up, fear of being vulnerable, fear of losing the one thing that means the most to them. It's a strange truth that the stronger the love, the more cautious the heart becomes. People who don't care much will move freely, speak freely, come and go easily. But someone who loves deeply walks with a different kind of hesitation. They start thinking about every step, every word, every action. They don't want to say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, or make the wrong move that could push the person they love away. So instead of rushing in boldly, they sometimes take a step back to breathe, to think, to make sure they don't cause damage while trying to express their feelings. And this distance is often misunderstood. On the outside, it can look like they're pulling away or losing interest. But on the inside, they're overthinking every detail because they care too much. They fear that exposing too much of their heart too soon could ruin everything. They fear their flaws, their insecurities, their past, their weaknesses might not be accepted. Loving deeply makes them aware of their imperfections in a way they've never felt before. It makes them feel like they must be careful not to let those imperfections hurt the person they care about. So the distance becomes a shield, a way to protect both themselves and the relationship from their own fears. A person who loves deeply becomes more sensitive to rejection. Even the smallest sign of being unwanted or misunderstood can send them into retreat. They replay conversations in their mind, analyze their own behavior, and worry about whether they're enough. They imagine losing the person they love, and that thought alone is enough to make them step back and regroup. Their heart is loud, but their confidence becomes quiet. Their love is strong, but their courage takes time to catch up. This distance is rarely about the other person. It's about the internal battle they're fighting with themselves. They love so much that it scares them. They love so deeply that the thought of losing that love feels unbearable. So they choose caution. They choose silence until they can trust their voice. They choose space until they can trust their steps. They pull back not to leave, but to make sure they come forward in the right way, at the right time, with the right heart. Sometimes when someone loves you deeply, the most confusing thing they do is pull away, and it's often misunderstood as disinterest or rejection. But the truth is, distance can be a sign of overthinking, not a lack of feelings. When a person loves you with their whole heart, their mind starts working overtime. Every word you say, every gesture you make, every little look is analyzed, replayed, and questioned in their thoughts. They want to make sense of it all, to understand it completely before they act, because one wrong move might risk the very thing they cherish most. Overthinking isn't about coldness, it's about care. It's about trying to get it right when the heart feels too much and the emotions are too strong to handle recklessly. When someone loves deeply, they don't just love casually. Their mind becomes a battleground of emotions and logic. They wonder if their love is enough, if they're doing enough, if they're protecting you the way you deserve to be protected. And in this process, they step back, creating distance, not because they don't want to be near you, but because they're trying to ensure that when they are with you, it's in a way that doesn't harm either of you. They're aware that love is fragile and they want to hold it carefully, even if that means holding themselves back for a while. This overthinking can manifest as silence, hesitation, or space. They might not reach out as often. They might seem distracted, or they may avoid situations where their uncertainty could show. To the outside world, it might look like they're losing interest, but in reality, it's their way of processing feelings that are too intense to act on impulsively. Their love is not absent. It's active behind the scenes, quietly weighing, questioning, planning, and hoping to get it right. People who overthink because of love often want to protect both themselves and the person they care about. They fear making mistakes, saying something wrong, or creating expectations they might not meet. Their distance is a form of self-control, a way to manage their intense emotions and avoid causing pain inadvertently. They're aware that love is not just about being present, it's about being thoughtful, intentional, and careful with someone's heart. So when you notice distance from someone who truly cares, it is often not a signal to give up, but an invitation to understand their inner world. Their overthinking is a reflection of how deeply they feel, how much they value the relationship, and how determined they are to protect what is precious. Distance in this context is not emptiness, it is thoughtfulness, it is caution, it is love operating in the background, quietly, carefully, and with the kind of intensity that can only come from a heart that cares too much to act recklessly. This is why the person who seems far away may actually be closer in heart than anyone else, silently planning, silently thinking, silently loving, just in a way that requires patience and understanding to truly see. Sometimes the reason someone keeps their distance is not about you, but about themselves. When a person loves deeply, they may fear that they are not enough. They might worry that their flaws, their past, or their insecurities could push you away or fail to meet your expectations. Deep love comes with deep self-awareness, and often that self-awareness brings doubt. They don't want to hurt you. They don't want to disappoint you. They don't want to make a promise they feel they cannot fully keep. And so instead of rushing in and risking heart-attach for both of you, they pull back. This distance is not a lack of love. It's a sign of the intensity of it. They care so much that they are afraid to act before they feel fully prepared, before they feel worthy of the love they want to give. When someone fears they are not enough, it affects how they show up in the relationship. They may hesitate to express their feelings openly. They may avoid making commitments or sharing plans for the future. They may even seem distant or distracted at times. But underneath all of that, there is a strong current of love, a desire to be close, and an intense longing to be understood and accepted despite their fears. Their distance is a reflection of their inner struggle, not a reflection of their affection. They are balancing their heart's desire with their mind's caution, trying to find a way to be fully present without risking the one thing they love the most. The fear of not being enough can also make someone incredibly observant and careful. They pay attention to details in your words and actions because they want to respond in a way that is right, loving, and supportive. They are constantly asking themselves, am I doing enough? Am I showing up for them the way they deserve? That constant self-questioning can create distance, but it is also a sign of a person who takes love seriously. They are not careless with your heart because they understand its value. People who love deeply but fear their own inadequacy may also need time to process their emotions before expressing them. They may withdraw to understand their feelings better, to ensure that when they do express themselves, it is genuine, thoughtful, and full of intention. They want to give their best self to the relationship, not just a part of themselves that is uncertain or afraid. This type of love is deliberate, measured, and conscious. It is not rushed or superficial. It is a love that takes time, patience, and courage to reveal fully. So when someone distances themselves, it is often because they are struggling with their own self-doubt and trying to protect both you and themselves. They are asking for patience and understanding, not rejection. Their love is strong, but their fear is strong too, and they need space to reconcile the two. What may look like distance is actually love in disguise, hidden behind the layers of their own uncertainty, waiting for the right moment to be fully expressed. When someone loves deeply, their love often makes them cautious, careful, and deliberate. It's not a love that rushes blindly. It's a love that measures every step because the heart is aware of its own fragility. Deep love is not reckless. It is not careless. People who feel intensely know how easily hearts can be broken, how fragile trust can be, and how difficult it is to repair a wound once it's been caused. Because of that awareness, they approach relationships with caution. They observe, they listen, and they think before they act, not because they don't care, but because they care too much. Every decision, every word, every gesture is weighed with the thought of how it will affect the person they love. Their love is deliberate, measured, and thoughtful. They don't want to act impulsively because love, when acted on without care, can create more harm than good. This caution can sometimes be mistaken for coldness, distance, or lack of interest. People might think that because someone doesn't immediately express their feelings, they don't feel anything. But in reality, Deep love makes a person extremely aware of their own emotions and the potential consequences of expressing them prematurely. They may stay quiet, they may hold back, they may even withdraw temporarily, all to ensure that when they do express their love, it is meaningful and true. Their care is meticulous. They don't want to give you anything less than their best self, and that requires patience and thoughtfulness. Being careful also means they are protective. They protect your heart, their own heart, and the bond between you. They understand that relationships require trust, understanding, and mutual respect, and they are careful not to act in ways that could damage those foundations. Deep love is aware that words can hurt, actions can mislead, and emotions can overwhelm. So they tread lightly, step cautiously, and approach every situation with consideration. Their love is not absent during this time of carefulness. It is quietly growing, strengthening, and solidifying in ways that are not always visible. Caution born out of deep love also reflects a desire for clarity and balance. They don't want confusion or misunderstandings to cloud the connection. They want to understand your needs, your emotions, and your perspective before fully committing themselves. They are aware that love is not just about passion or intensity. It is about patience, respect, and intentionality. Every action they take is filtered through the lens of what will honor the person they love. So, when someone who loves you deeply seems cautious or distant, it is not a sign that their feelings are weak. It is a sign that their feelings are strong enough to demand thought, respect, and care. Their love is deliberate, careful, and considerate because they know that the person they love deserves nothing less than the best version of themselves. They are slow not because they are uncertain, but because they are intentional, aware, and committed to loving you in a way that is real, lasting, and meaningful. Sometimes when someone loves you deeply, the distance they create is not a withdrawal from you, but a space they need to gain clarity. Love is not always straightforward. Strong feelings can be confusing, intense, and overwhelming, especially when someone fears losing the person they care about or making a mistake that could hurt the relationship. In such situations, stepping back becomes a way to sort through emotions, thoughts, and intentions before acting on them. They may spend hours, days, or even weeks reflecting on their feelings, analyzing the relationship, and trying to understand how best to show up. This distance is not about neglect or lack of interest. It is a method of preparing themselves mentally and emotionally so that when they do engage, they do so with purpose, honesty, and sincerity. Deep love often creates inner conflict. People who feel intensely may be torn between their desire to be close and their fear of causing harm, whether to themselves or to the person they love. They may question if their actions are right, if their words are enough, or if their love will be received the way they hope. This inner dialogue can lead to temporary withdrawal as they seek clarity about their role, their feelings, and the path forward. They are not walking away. They are pausing to ensure they do not act impulsively or unintentionally damage the bond they value so deeply. The distance is also a form of protection. they are trying to protect both their own heart and yours. Sometimes, when emotions run high,